a brand, if I don't know what my next move is, no one else is going to work out my next move. I have no strategy. I make it up as I go along, as you can tell. But in terms of, like I said, I think the competition's a fantastic thing. But I think as well, a lot of other people in this space, if you took any of their marketing or any of their branding and you mixed it all up amongst themselves, they could all be one and the same. Whereas I think if you see a tank driving over Sydney Harbour Bridge, and me on board or whatever, then you'll know it's Grenade. So I think, we floated a Grenade hot air balloon past Glastonbury. And again, if you think, look at the stuff that Brewdog have done. I mean, it's just a masterclass in marketing, really being creative, thinking on their feet, doing stuff that, probably only they could think of, like we do stuff only we can think of. And I think...
What is your way? Like, how do you forge that?
We've got something coming up called Sky Climb, and we've got Sam Sheriff, who's an ex-Royal Marine, and he's doing the world's highest rope climb. So it's going to be 10,000 feet in the air. He's climbing a 100-foot rope. He's going to do it suspended from our Grenade hot air balloon, and we're going to fly around in my helicopter doing the filming because it's too high for a drone. So
he's going to be... It's off for
10,000 feet in the air, 100-foot rope. He's going to climb out the balloon, climb the 100-foot rope.
Has he got He's
got a parachute on because he's got a parachute off at the end.
That's so mad.
But it's got no but look at Red Bull, when they do these mad Red Bull stunts, it's got no relevance really whatsoever to an energy drink. Just some of this stuff is just fun to do. It's good branding. And again, we always said we wanted to be the Red Bull of sports nutrition. So, but with us, I think with Red Bull, a lot of their stuff is very much, they never do anything that involves animals or fighting sports. Monster are all about doing fighting sports. So again, you'll see Monster at Red MMA, but you don't see Red Bull in MMA. See what I mean about attacking competition where they're weaker or where they're stronger?
Yeah.
Don't hit Red Bull in Formula One.
Yeah.
Why would you hit Red Bull in Formula One?
Yeah.
They're really good at it.
Yes.
It's like just picking the kid at school who's 3 feet taller than you and massive and going and picking a fight. You're not going to win.
Don't aim for their heart, aim for their ankles.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
So as ankle biters, as we were called once by
really?
another confectionery brand.
Yeah.
So I forgot where I was going with this now. We've got a Sky Climb coming up, but so with Red Bull, they know their brand parameters, what they do and don't do. I know what my brand parameters would be, and things again I don't want to do. Like again, we don't really do anything with fighting sports or anything either, just because I'm not really interested in boxing. So it doesn't feel like. Whereas I do more stuff with the military because I like military stuff. We'll call Grenade. So
the point about picking your strengths and their weaknesses, and going for their weaknesses, not their strengths. Is just so valuable, and I think
it feels obvious to me, but I'm not sure it's obvious to probably.
Well, it's not. This one, as I said to you, what I've got from you is just your common sense plus massive ambition, and it's something I've never spoken. But
no, I think we were just saying about some of the stunts that we do, and I think people will see some of our stunts and they'll know it's us. But I think the point I was going to make was that I think a lot of what Red Bull do, that it's incredible. Stunts, yes, there's a real human element in that, like Felix Baumgartner jumping from space, but I think they've got a lot of technology as well that probably help them again with regard to Formula One, and again if they're doing stuff with stunt planes, obviously there's huge amounts of human skill in these things. But I think for us as well, anything where there's real human endurance, where the human, the individual, is doing a lot of the work. like Stas running up Everest, or Sam doing Sky Climb. Something where nutrition can play a really important part. That's not obvious, just like football. And Grenade should be there. So I think, and a lot of it just comes down to, I think, as I said about brands being extensions of their founders. I'm not interested in Formula One, so I'm not interested in football or rugby or cricket. So there were never obvious places for me to go and put my brand, because I don't really find it that interesting, to be fair. And again,
how do you find your competitors' weaknesses? Because I think, again, that's something that probably comes naturally to you, but I think a lot of people will be looking at competitors, which happens.
Yeah.
And that's how you get the blandemic happens, where every brand looks the same. you know, and it's a cool
But
brand.
I think maybe that's the weakness. If they just look the same, again, if I look at something, I think we could make a better one. Or again, if they're very, very entrenched in, say, football, for instance, you know, or MMA or something that, you know, that we're less interested in. I mean, don't get me wrong. Grenade's at the stage where, you know, it's a product that, you know, any sport it's appropriate for, but that wasn't where we started. You know, we started with, you know, bodybuilding essentially and the military. And you mentioned Jamie Alderton, but if you're not careful as a brand, you can really get pigeonholed somewhere. And I know certain brands that were just pigeonholed in rugby or, you know, or golf or football, and they just couldn't break out of them. And the problem with some of these sports as well, there's just not enough people that do it sometimes. So you end up, you know, alienating an entire category of people because, and we very nearly did it ourselves. You know, we focused on the military because I was interested in it. I've got friends in the military, and no one was making product for soldiers. Why not? You know, soldiers, again, train hard. They put their lives on the line. It's a very physical job. Why is a soldier less important than a footballer? Just because people like football.
How did you get out of that niche, though? Break out of the niche?
Well, you just don't get pigeonholed somewhere for too long, because if you're not careful, you can just get stuck somewhere, and then the brand can never be associated with anything else. And we wanted our brand to be associated with anyone really who was into training and looking after themselves.
What were some of the moves?
Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks to your e-com and accounting software. It's helped Islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.